Hello and welcome to another edition of an English guy watching wrestling. I'm an English guy. I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video. I really do appreciate it. And this one, we're going to be covering the TV episode of Ring of Honor television from the 23rd of April 2021. And what was a very unusual show, but we'll get to why momentarily. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Opening matchup, I'm going to sneeze, I do apologise. Opening matchup was between Dak Draper and Eli Eason. Now, it's not the first time to see. I think it's gone. Okay. It's not the first time I've ever seen these two in Ring of Honor, and to see these two face each other was actually quite a good thing to see, because I do like both wrestlers, and they're very, very good. I've never seen either wrestler before I saw them in Ring of Honor, to be completely honest, but I enjoyed the kind of disrespect being showed by Dak Draper with these ribbon of participation thing he does. It's a unique gimmick, and I kind of like that, to be honest. And Eli Epsom is not like guy, not been very long in the business. He's very, very good. He's got a lot of talent. And this was a very unique match. And to be honest, it was a very, very good wrestling match. Good wrestling back and forth. And it was really hard to pick a winner. And it went to the time limit draw of 15 minutes. And then both wrestlers were asking for 5 more minutes to have a decisive winner, which I am all for. And then the officials at Ring of Honor said, okay, we'll give them 5 more minutes. We'll give them a chance to get a clear-cut winner, which I really liked, because I wasn't expecting that to happen, because I was thinking maybe they get a rematch in the future to see if there's a decisive winner that way with maybe no time limit. But because it's Ring of Honor television, there is a time limit. And it was actually given 5 more minutes, which you don't see very, very often in a television episode, shall we say. I haven't seen it for a while myself, but it was really, really cool to see. So they did get 5 more minutes. And just as the bell rung, the lights went out. And who appeared on the roadway but Dalton Castle, making his return to Ring of Honor television. And Dalton Castle, being Dalton Castle, he's one of the most charismatic, flamboyant, and just downright entertaining guys in all of Ring of Honor. You kind of but love him. And he was definitely entertaining there. And he kind of wanted to introduce himself to both Dak and Eason as to say, I think you guys, are good. Kept on putting a triad about how it's missing Dalton Castle. And he basically hits them both. So there was no real decisive winner. So basically ended in a real no contest. So a very unusual end to what was actually a fun match, to be fair. And obviously, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with these two. And I think there's going to be something involving Dalton Castle and either one of these two in the future. If not all three of them will be involved in the match. And in some way. And I wouldn't mind seeing that, because Dalton Castle making his return to Ring of Honor television was entertaining. And if you've ever seen Dalton Castle, you know what he's like. He's just great. There's no other way to say it. I can't help but love him. But a very unusual way to start the show of what was a very, very good match. And happy to see the continuation of the match until all of a sudden that happens. Not very often, but thumbs up to everybody to make it very entertaining. Excuse me. And the main event was LFI versus Violence United. So Unlimited, Violence Unlimited, sorry. Who's Brody King, the returning Homicide to Ring of Honor, and Chris Dickinson. Now, those who know Homicide know he is a man who was synonymous with Ring of Honor in the early years and being one of the greatest all-rounders you ever saw. I remember watching him thinking, wow, this guy's so, so good. I haven't seen Homicide wrestle for a long time, because I know for a long time he had a bad shoulder injury, which he had tape on it constantly. But seeing back in Ring of Honor was very, very cool. And to be aligned with someone like Brody King, who is definitely one of the most worth watching guys too. Worthy guys to watch in wrestling in Ring of Honor right now, and just in wrestling in general, because he's been really, really good in New Japan Strong and also Ring of Honor. He's been great to watch, and I think this could be his year to break out. I honestly think if Brody King keeps on going the way he's going, he's really going to go places, because he's so good. For a guy's size, he's so, so good. But this was a very unique 6-man tag match, because obviously, the whole, shall we say, taking over Ring of Honor, shall we say, of LFI, not kind of undone at the 90th anniversary show when they lost the tag titles. But Violence Unlimited introduced themselves at the 90th anniversary, and it was actually kind of unique to see this kind of faction form, because I didn't see it coming at all, and I haven't seen Brody King in Ring of Honor for a while. Now, the pandemic's had a little thing to do with that, but it's very unusual to see it. I certainly didn't expect to see Homicide. That took me completely out of surprise, but definitely all for it. I really like Homicide. And Chris Dickinson, I really like as well. I've only seen a few of his matches, but he's been very good so far. But this was a bizarre and into a match again, obviously with two teams who really want to go at each other, and they did. Some very good tag team wrestling from LFI to isolate the one man, and the old 6-man tag team mentality, and then set up with all 3 men, keeping them in the corner, keeping them in the corner next side of the ring. Kept on going very, very well until it got out of hand because the violence, shall we say, started to kick in. Both teams got disqualified, and then all of a sudden the foundation come out and kind of get involved too, which is kind of a faction war, shall we say, going on in Ring 1 right now. So the match ended in a double disqualification. So this week, no real decisive winners in either one of the matches. But I think more of a story to be added with the main event scenario with obviously LFI violence, violence enemies, and of course the foundation. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next. I'm going to keep an eye on it because I kind of think there's a lot of road mileage there, shall we say. And obviously, Doncaster returning, I'm all for it. So, what was a very unusual but entertaining episode of Ring of Honor Television. The main event was some very good 6-man tag wrestling too, and obviously the whole violence, manifestation was going to happen, and it did. So, that is it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. I will see everybody next time. Back to that time. Take care.